Hey everybody, and welcome back to RipTech Labs. I'm Chris, and in this episode we're going to take a look at my RCA 9x561. Now if you happen to catch a live stream I did where I tried to recap this and get it working, I had screwed up the wiring. I had a nasty hum in it, and you'll see that. And the next day I went back and I fixed the electrolytic capacitors. I had them hooked up the wrong place, and then we had basically no output. Well, we had some output, but it was so low, and I could not figure it out. And I should have seen this because honestly, it was a really rookie mistake. I should have known better. I should have made sure that every component was done. Well, you'll see what I'm talking about right here. This is an RCA 9x561 from, does this have the year on it? I don't remember what year this was made. I want to say that this is post-war because it's plastic. It's not Bakelite. I mean, I got this at Goodwill for 10 bucks, right? Oh, it is cracked on the bottom, like right there. Yeah, I mean, I knew I was going to have to do some body work on this anyway, because I saw the corner busted out, but I didn't see this crack running all the way along there. No big deal. Yeah, there's see. $10 and change at Goodwill. I guess the dial does not work, which is probably just a string. That on and off. I mean, that's all there is. There's no tone control even on this radio. I mean, I do have the schematic for this. It's just a simple AA5. As you can see, somebody thoughtfully cut the cord off of this, so obviously it didn't work, or they did that just because a lot of times you'll see that if somebody sells them, they cut the cord off so they can't be, held liable if somebody takes it home and shocks themselves and dies. Told you it didn't work. You didn't believe me, did you? Anyway, let's get into this thing. I'm going to have to put a new line cord on, which means I have to find a new line cord. Okay, so yeah, this has been opened before because these are coming out way too easy and they're totally mismatched. Yep, okay. Well, that's actually not too bad. Boy, yeah, this thing is spotless in here. Yeah, see, here's the deal with the dial. You can see right here, the string is like completely... Yeah, it's just broken, so that would explain that. Oh, that's just connected directly to the tuning cap. Wow, okay. If I ask you later which one is marked, it's the one on the right side of the tuning cap, okay? Desolder this antenna. May have to desolder the speaker too, hopefully not. Well, let's not be dumb. We can just yank these off of here, no doubt. Ouch! Oh yeah, I'd say that string's broken. It's just coming out in pieces. Okay. Okay, that's one side. And of course the other side is way up in there, but we can just do this. Ooh, that's like loose in here? Oh, that's because of the crack in the case. Never mind. Take that tube out, and that makes it much more easier. Pop, there we go. All right. All else fails, use a crescent wrench. Actually don't, because that's usually the wrong way to do anything is with a crescent wrench. They're great for like little crap like this that doesn't matter, but if it's anything that has to be, actually tight or is actually tight, you're gonna just make a giant mess out of the nut or the bolt head or whatever it is you're clamping onto. Oh cool, this has a built-in phono input. That is handy because you can just jack an MP3, Bluetooth MP3. Can I date myself some more? A Bluetooth receiver right into there. The knobs are on the side. Do they just pull out? Yep, they do. Oh, come on. Yep, awesome. And tell me these speaker terminals just pull off of there. Tell me that. Oh, yeah. Okay, green's on the bottom. Remember that. I don't think it matters, but anyway. Alrighty then. Come out of there, sweetheart. Okay, here is our radio. Well, yeah, that case is gonna need some work. A little bit rusty. Okay, here's that tube. Let's just stick it back in there. Good thing about this, though, is it's clean. I mean, it's got rust on it, but that should come off of there pretty easy. Let's flip this thing over and see what we're dealing with. Oh boy. But here we are again with the old wax paper caps. I mean, in this era, yeah, this is definitely post-war. This is like 50s era right here. I do have a schematic for this though, and I'll bet we can recap this real quick and see what happens. Here we go. All right. So here's our little radio. And here is our parts list. Anyway, so yeah, here's all our tabs so far. Terminal strip. This really only needs to be a 2-section, but that's all I have is 3 sections and 4 sections, so we'll just do that. It'll work just as well. So let's just get this out of here so I don't break or bend up that dial indicator. Oh, and that's like totally wrapped around there. Well, the restring instructions are in that manual I was just looking at, so not a problem. Let's get to work. If I can find a way to mount, there we go. It'll just sit just like that. God, I love it when it works out like that. Where do we even start? I guess we just pick one here and just go. So let's start with this E-cap. Boy, that feels like it's light and dried out. Now, okay, now this has had work done. And if you can see this, this does not match. So it's got a 50 and it's got a 30 in there. Not a 80 and a 50. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell by these wires are, yeah, different from the originals. So that's definitely been done. Possible that some of these other ones that they don't match because they've been done before. It's possible. I don't know. That's just like tacked in there. I wonder if he just laid it over the top of the original. Because the original would have been, no. A lot of times there'll be a can sitting on top of the chassis that was the electrolytic capacitors, and it's not there. So it would have been down here. See, this is definitely post-war. Just from that alone. So yeah, let's just take this ugly thing out. That little firecracker was done later. That's obvious. 50 and 30. And of course I didn't look and see where. I didn't even pay attention to where I disconnected everything from, did I? You bloody genius. Yeah, I screwed up by not paying attention. Don't screw up and not pay attention. That's really bad. But anyway, I'll figure this out here in a second. Yeah, that was a mess. Okay, so we're just gonna put these in here like I planned. But what we're gonna do is reroute some of this. So we can put this like, maybe? Oh, yeah, that's, yeah, we can do that. We can mount that here, which means I can use that screw and washer out of that signal generator here. And then, well, I don't like that. It's too close to this little coil here, though. I mean, I guess I got this little clip, if I can figure out how to get that out of there. How does that come out of there? I don't have a clue. Oh, like that. Okay. So yeah, that will maybe work if I could glue. Oh, there we go. I have to solder that there, but that would definitely work. Okay. What about like this way even? No, let's do it that way. But yeah, that'll work. It's got kind of clips in there, but I've got to somehow secure that to that. So that's the $57,000 problem, isn't it? Oh, I see what's going on. That's not open on that side. It's only open on 2 sides. So if I do this, I have to do it like this. Okay. That's fine, I guess. Let's see if we can get this part done. The heat might be an issue, but we're going to leave it there for a little bit. Did that happen to stick it? I don't know. Let's let that cool down a minute, because it's probably mighty hot right now. Well, did it stick? Ooh, I think maybe it did. It did. Do we have continuity? Oh, helps if you turn the meter on to check it. We do. We have continuity on that lug. Okay, we're in business. I need to tie. This is my 50 section, right? And then this is my 80 section. The 50 section is bigger because these are 450 volt caps versus 160 volt caps. I gotta get me a decent selection of commonly used capacitors because I don't have a decent selection of commonly used electrolytic capacitors in these old radios. And the reason I'm doing it this way and not in series is because that's how you add capacitances. The old 1 over your total is one over your first cap plus 1 over your second cap, etc., etc. Just how it is. I don't make the rules. Yes, this will work great, actually. Okay, this is my 50 section, so it goes here, but I gotta re-tack those together, so that's a thing. All right, yeah, that works pretty good. All right, so that, let's clamp on there. Okay, ooh, is that gonna have room for the other one? I will make it work. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it ain't perfect. I don't claim anything I do is perfect. Let's just get that out of the way right now. I might exclaim perfect one now and again, but you know, it's a pejorative. I think that's the word. Okay, that's like that. Now the other two. This has to go to the negative post and then back up into that one. And then I need to tack that onto that because I don't believe that this is, or is it? It might be continuous all the way through. No, it's not. Okay. No. So yeah, I do need to put a little loop there, which is no big deal. No big deal at all. If I can find a decent sized lead from before, like that, we can make this happen. Just realized you guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm just making this so that it'll poke down into those holes and kind of sit there, and then all this side has to do is connect around, wrap around that. Now, is it gonna work? Brilliantly, I might add. Oh, almost. Okay. Please. There we go. Okay. Hot diggity. Okay, so that one is perfect like that. Almost. Kind of, oh man. Yeah, okay, there we go. And then this little part here, well, here's part of our problem, is that needs to come out. So, before I go too crazy, and you'll see too that that has lead dress on it. Well, let's just cut that out with the cutters, which is generally how you cut things. Now that's going to the blue wire and that's going to the orange wire. That ought to be easy to remember, right? Blue and orange. Yeah, okay. Now, here's another little tip too when you're doing these like this. This is what? This is a 0.01. 0.01s are the 103s, right? Isn't that what we've decided? Yes, 103. Okay. So you've got that, yeah? We take our sleeving lead dress, whatever the hell you want to call it. And we're going to make that roughly the same size. On that side. And on that side, all the way. All right, so you'll see then that's, you know, roughly the same length. So then all we got to do, well, let me cut just a hair off of this. And just a hair off of this. Get a nice little hook here. I just lost the sleeve on that one. Derp. And a nice happy little hook there. Right, right. Okay. Blue wire, orange wire. I said blue wire, orange wire. Pretty please, can I have that? Okay, let's see. We gotta make that hook a little bit larger. Which means I gotta take a little bit of this sleeve off. Which y'all cannot see what I'm doing. Because I'm an idiot. Dude. Okay, whoops, and it came off the blue side. All right, and it just came off the orange side. Go dang it. God damn it. Some fish. Alright. Alright. There's that capacitor replaced. And this connected to this side, so that also goes down there where that blue wire goes. So first thing I'm going to do though is latch that up to that. Let's fix a couple of these joints right here real quick, and then I'll worry about that last one. That is a clumsy, ugly joint, but it works. I think. Ooh, that's hot. Oops. That didn't quite work according to plan. Let's try that again. I don't have my solder fan running. Duh. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about the noise, but you know how it is. Oh yeah, flashlight's still on. Ha! I'm like, what is that? Now, all of those should be tied together. Correct? Yes, okay, and that not. Okay. All right, let me get this connected to that. Oh, shoot, that came off. Crap. And then this has to go to that. I don't know how I'm gonna lock that on there though. Maybe like that. Okay, and then loop onto that and grab on there and give her a little pinch and then solder it. All right, I think. Yeah, that's pretty sloppy. Let's give that a little bit more juice. All right, I think that solves our electrolytic issue. I hope I have them hooked up in the right place. I think I do. Now we got to get rid of the rest of these. So I got to put the line cord on here first, though, which means number one, I got to pop this grommet out. I hate these little grommets. They are a pain in the... Okay, so I should be able to go... No, maybe not. I was going to say push out. Yeah. Okay. If I do this, will it come out? No, of course not. I don't like these. Can I pull that through? No, because the grommet's there. There we go, I think. No. There we go. Pull that part of it out. And we're good. Okay, so now that comes out. That goes down behind everything. Okay, there's where one side goes. Oh, yeah, I gotta make sure which side is neutral and which side is hot. If it does matter, you put the... Because on these old sets, usually your plugs aren't polarized, and that does matter because otherwise you could have a hot chassis, especially on these series sets, you could have a hot chassis when it's powered off if you hook the switch up wrong. We need to switch the hot side, which is the narrow plug, yeah? But it's the hot side, it's the short one. Okay, so that's the one that I need to make sure gets switched. And that goes through down here, okay. Buzzinga. Let's not touch that end of our iron. S'il vous plaît, merci. Damn. Is that like wrapped around that? I don't think it is. No. So why won't that just pull out? What a mess. Yeah, I think somebody replaced the line cord on this too, because what a mess. If this don't work, I'll just grab the solder sucker and we'll just go to town with that. Yeah. All right, now we're in business. Okay, so that goes there. That is our hot side. This side is our neutral side, going to that. Yeah. There, okay. Get that chunk of old ratty cord out of there. Now, let's split this end and strip that off and figure out which end is which so we know what we're doing. All right, so which end of this is the small end. This one, okay. So, well, we'll run this through the grommet and figure this out again. Once we get it down in here. Okay, so let's see. Through the short end, and then... Okay, so this one gets tacked to that, and that one gets tacked to that. All right, let's do that. Put a little hook in that. And then we'll try our damnedest to run that in from the bottom out. Or I guess technically it's the top, but anyway, like that. And then pinch it on there. And then solder it. Okay. Okay, that's soldered. Now, I gotta get this one. What kind of a hole do we have to work with down there? There's plenty big one down there. Okay. Let me run this around. I don't think it matters. It might, but I doubt it. Come on. Okay. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. I know. I'm aware. I'm not paying attention to you. Through. Kind of like the little shoestring thing. It goes through the hole and over the top and around. Pinch that off. Solder that. Let's just do the rest of these and get this completely recapped, and we'll see what happens. Let's fire it back up and see what it sounds like. Worst case is it's unchanged. No, worst case is it catches on fire or something, right? I mean, hopefully, you know, worst case is nothing's changed. So, shoot all this crap out from underneath here, just to be sure. Be sure nothing else is in there holding on to anything else. All right, where's that box with the speaker? Oh, yeah. Pew, 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 pew. Ooh, why are we having such a problem now? Hooking that back up. I don't know. All right, anyway. Okay. That here is my power. It should still be turned on. Yeah, okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. Ooh, instantly starts humming. Not good. Well, like I said, nothing's changed. Huh. Oh, wow. Okay. That's bizarre, isn't it? That's me turning the volume down. So something else is still very wrong here. Ooh, yeah, I don't know what's going on. This is going to require a lot more time and effort than I budgeted for today. So, we recapped it. We still have a wicked hum. All right. That's fair. Well, anyway. Tacking this on the end of the video because after I finished that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the schematic and I'm going to pour over it and look at this radio, and I found two problems that were 100% my fault. Now, the first one, you can kind of understand, right? Because I'm going to put the schematic right here. Now you'll see on this that the tube layout in the schematic drawing is different from the actual tube layout on the device. So I was looking at and I kept getting these confused all the time when I was working on this, that the output and the rectifier were in two totally different places, but on the schematic drawing they were like this. So I'd be looking at that and I'd be like, no, I have to do it down here. And what happened was I tied the leg of that one of those electrolytic capacitor blocks to the wrong tube. Yeah, of course that's going to fail. And then the second problem was, again, my fault. I forgot that this was just a series string set, and that chassis ground really isn't a thing in these. Is you've got your AC loop, and that's basically it. I mean, yes, chassis ground exists, but it's not the same as what we really think about it today. It's a separate thing. So there's like, it's separate from the hard, chassis. So when I soldered those caps on negative and tied directly to this, I was doing it wrong. Those had to be soldered to the correct place where the line cord went back into the wall. So that's where those had to go. Once I did that, here's what happened. I'm gonna plug it back in, I'm gonna turn it on. Listen carefully. Got a printer running in the background, so if you can't hear it, I'm not surprised, but once this warms up, the hum is basically gone. However, you can see that the lights are on, the tubes are on, rectifier's lit right up, the output tube is, but listen. Is I have the radio, I have radio. It's receiving, however, the output is extremely low. This is turned all the way up. I mean, if I turn it down, turn it off. Actually, there's no, oh, that's very interesting. I didn't notice that last night. The output doesn't change. I'll bet this output tube is bad, because that should, I'm gonna have to look at the schematic again now. Boy, yeah, the volume does nothing. So there's obviously no amplification going on here. I'm gonna have to pour over that. So that's where we are. I'm gonna leave it at that. And we'll see you again, hopefully in a little bit. Okay, so I've had a little bit of time to poke around this, and when I first opened this up, I was like, what is this thing here? Now, on the schematic, there shows a 0.02 microfarad capacitor going from here, from the volume control to this tube, right here. That's where this big black thing lives in the radio. Because what I think is going on, why we're only getting a small signal here, is because this, when this volume control is all the way down, it still has 400K on it, which means some of this signal is still there. It's not completely wiping it out. So that signal is going back through the coil, the IF coil here, back through the tube, back through the output, and that's what we're hearing. Whereas this, which is coming off the actual volume control, is going nowhere. I think that's our problem. This thing needs to come out. So let's take it out, let's replace it with a 0.02 cap and see what we get. So we're gonna replace that. Is that long enough? Yeah, it's long enough. Let's take this thing out. Oh yeah, whatever that wire was, it broke. Okay, that's neat. I wonder if there's a 0.02 capacitor, paper one, living in this coil, and this coil is like a shield or something. I'll bet you that's what's going on. These things are almost necessary for work on these, because you can heat up a solder joint and kind of wedge it in to where they wrap the wire around it, and then you pry that off of there. It's hot? No. Okay, so what do we got here? So this is this thing that I just pulled out of there. Now I'm looking down inside of here. Where's my little flashlight? We can see what's going on. So that's exactly what's going on here. There's a capacitor inside this coil. This coil must be for shielding or something. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this with a proper cap. We're going to sleeve the leads on it so that we can't accidentally short it out, then put this thing back. So let's see about pulling this thing out. Where's those pliers at without causing any damage? Yeah, see, the wire fell out of it. There it is right there. There's the lead that broke. This was either, yeah, this was open. It was broken inside of there. Oh boy, okay, that's fine. Will it come out peacefully, or is it going to be a problem? Ooh, yep, look at that. there's our problem. 0.02, come on, focus. Woo. 0.02 microfarad. That's why we don't have any volume. It's not the tube, it's not something shorted out. It was this, inside of this. Yeah, that'll fit and go all the way through. On there, and whoops, can't see what I'm doing. Get one about, try not to cut the lead. There. Dress this off, dress this off. Now, where'd the coil go? There we go, I had my little drawer on top of it. This goes back inside, like such. Make a little hook. Make a little hook. And we'll hook the other side when we get there. There was a note about lead dress. Dress capacitor C13 down to base alongside of shielded lead. So what capacitor is that? C13. To base alongside of shielded lead. I mean, honestly, that's a pretty rookie mistake, but it's not really obvious, is it? All right, now we got our capacitor here, goes in through the tube, out there, hooked onto this joint here. Now that was connected to the other end of where that lives, that resistor. It's another use for these little picks is if you got a hole covered up with solder, you can heat it up, melt it, and works great, especially on tube sockets and controls. You just boop, punch a little hole in it like that, right? Now there's a hole in there. Okay, let's put these tubes back in, put the speaker back up. I'll bet it works now. So I make sure to put them in the right place.
Sirius XM channel 80.
Yep, there's our problem.
So that's smart speaker of yours. ESPN radio. Oh, we're gonna get to your calls on.
Always check that you replaced all the capacitors, even the ones you can't see. Yeah, you know, I want to say that's kind of a rookie mistake, but honestly, if you're still learning this stuff, I did this a long time ago, and I'm just getting back into it. So I guess you could say it's a rookie mistake on my part for not seeing that, not realizing that, not trying to figure out what that big black tube even was, and just going, oh, I'm just going to leave it there, right? See, I thought maybe it was just a coil. No, there was a stupid capacitor inside it. Thank you for watching. You're awesome. If you like this video, hit that little thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want. Hit the bell, whatever. And I guess we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. You're awesome. Bye.